then you can give routine governance, but never leave your footprints behind. And of course, we saw a series of initial changes. Some of them were low-hanging fruit, and some were obviously directional in nature. Indian economy got opened up significantly. And while we were opening up, in sector after sector, it became clear that India and Indians had become increasingly aspirational. And therefore, most of these decisions, let alone faced no resistance, quite to the contrary, they enjoyed popular support. A new India had emerged, and which is evident from the fact that while the world is moving slowly today, and you hear voices of protectionism in developed world, the debate over protectionism is hardly heard in India. And that's an indication of how aspirational, open, and progress-oriented Indian public opinion is increasingly becoming. People expected transparency. So one of the emphases of the government and the Honorable Prime Minister was that discretions had to be eliminated. In fact, a lesson to be learned from the last government, the previous UPA government, was that in matters of distribution of economic privileges and largesse, when governments and ministries enjoy discretions, they inevitably land you in controversies. And you spend your political tenure fighting those and firefighting those controversies rather than being able to use the resources available with the government. Now, having taken a series of those steps, India came back on the global radar. Our macroeconomic data started looking up. And I think time had now come to clean up the table and take several important decisions, each one of them, if you link it with one another, added to the strength of the Indian economy. And I think the year 2016, which has just ended, became extremely important for that purpose. For how many years have we debated that our monetary policy must be decided by a committee? We implemented the law, we've amended it, implemented it, it's now in execution. India did not have an adequate exit law. And therefore, the speed at which we enacted and had it approved and set up the institutions under the insolvency and the bankruptcy law, the whole exercise got completed within the calendar year last year. Since 1996, we had been repeatedly negotiating and renegotiating all the treaties, the double taxation avoidance treaties with countries, which in effect were facilitating round-tripping of money. And during the last calendar years, we renegotiated and rewrote the Mauritius Treaty, the Cyprus Treaty, the Singapore Treaty, which was a part of the government's larger desire that the shadow economy should not be allowed to prosper. It took a considerable amount of effort to build up consensus to pass the constitutional amendment on the goods and services tax, which we were successful in passing it in Parliament. After every budget, you heard academic debates about rationalization of subsidies. For decades, not a single step had been taken in that direction. Last year saw the Aadhaar law being passed, being implemented, and significant steps in many areas using the facility of unique identity to rationalize subsidies, effect considerable savings, and target the benefits only towards those for whom the benefits were conceived.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.